Hi, I'm Paris, and I've been on airline flights where I've really envied the person a couple rows ahead wearing their expensive Bose noise-canceling headphones with a look of serenity on their face while I'm listening to screaming kids and Game Boys being played without headphones and my seat right over the engine listening to that. But I've never been tempted to spend $350 to buy a set of those headphones. After all, it used to be my kids that were doing the screaming, so I figured I owe some penance on that. But a company contacted me and said, hey, we've got a pair of those active noise canceling headphones that you so wish you had, and they go for less than $100. They're called the Atomic Headphones.
EpicReviewGuys.
As you can see from the box, the Atomic headphones are not big and bulky. They lay pretty much flat. The battery life is 20 hours, which is pretty amazing. That'll get you through several layovers and flights full of screaming kids. They go right now on Amazon for $89, and there's a link to them down below this video. Thanks to the people at Idea USA for sending me the set of headphones out to try. They're called the Atomic headphones, and they're also the V201. Now, they have both Bluetooth connector and a regular old plug-in audio jack connector, and I'm figuring I'm going to need both. On a plane, you can't very well connect via Bluetooth from your headphones to listen to the movie on the plane. At least I haven't seen that yet. So for that, I'm going to need to plug in an actual audio cable. But when I go to the gym, I don't want to mess with an audio cable. I'd like to have the Bluetooth enabled so I can listen to music from my phone. Read through the instructions, seems pretty easy to use, though there are a number of buttons on the headphones, which if you don't want to have to keep taking them off to look at the button, you'll have to memorize where they are so you can do them by touch. This is the traveling case. Very thin and pretty lightweight. Nice, looks like they did a nice job. Oh! For the airplanes that require the old 2-plug connector, they've got you covered with one of those. Feel pretty good. In addition to the headphones, here's an audio cable to plug in here and to the device you want to listen to, and a USB cable that plugs in here and goes to a charger, the same kind of charger you'd use to charge up your phone or your tablet. If you have trouble with which side goes on the right and the left, they made it real easy for you. They twist around like this and a little bit in the other direction. There's nice cushioning here if this is going to rest on the top of your head, and these are very nicely padded. On the bottom are all the connectors and buttons. The audio cable port is here, and the buttons along here turn it on, play the song, skip, go back, and also answer the phone. You can use this as a Bluetooth device to talk on the phone. Over here is the USB cable for charging and the switch for the active noise cancellation. It's not automatically on because it uses more power, so you switch it on and off here. See how they feel. I have a large head, okay. Rest just very gently on top of my head. I imagine I'm speaking even more loudly now because they really do block out the sounds with the padded cups around your ears. Don't seem like they'll fall off, and they don't seem too heavy, so far so good. Now, if you're not familiar with active noise canceling technology, what makes that so special, the gold standard of flying on planes with crying babies, is it has microphones on the outside of each earpiece. I think I see one there, and I think I see one there. So they listen and they hear the annoying sound before you do, and then that signal is processed, and this is basically also a speaker. A tone is generated that cancels out the incoming sound wave that's going to bother you so you don't hear it. Now logically I know that makes sense, but when I think about it too much, it seems like I've already got the noise coming in and this is going to make even more noise, but yet somehow it works, or I'm going to find out soon if it really does. Now I don't expect $350 Bose quality from an $89 pair of headphones, but if they play the sound reasonably well, if they cancel out the noise reasonably well, I'm going to be real happy with these. First thing is to charge them up completely. It takes 2 hours. After 2 hours of charging, you get your 20 hours of playback. I'm going to use them tomorrow. I'm not taking a flight tomorrow, so I'm going to park down by the highway and see how well they cancel out that noise And I'm going to take them to my gym and see what they can do about the sounds of the people in the back dropping the weights and letting go on the machine, so there's that sudden clanging noise that's very disconcerting. See if it can block that out. Before heading out to check the traffic and over at the gym, I thought I'd tell you about my experience this morning when I was setting these up. It was about 6 a.m. Nobody else was up yet. I wanted to listen to some music, so I did the pairing with my phone. And while I was listening to the song, I heard a little hissing sound start in the background that I didn't recognize as any sounds of the house. So I took the headphones off, and there's the roar of the furnace having come on and blowing the hot air through the HVAC system. And I put them back on, and there's just a little hiss sound in the background. I turned the music off, and it's so muted. I'm actually amazed how this, it's the active noise cancellation, not just the padding, because I can turn off the noise cancellation feature, and now it's a roar again. It's a little bit muted from the padding of this, but when I turn on the active noise cancellation, which turns a little light on here, it's just a little whispering hiss in the background. There are probably 12, 15 lanes of traffic here going in the two directions, morning rush hour traffic, and I hear sounds from it. When I take this off, I hear the full roar of all those cars and trucks going by, and it's not just the padding again. If I switch off the active noise cancellation, it is so much louder. These things work amazingly well. They don't block out all of the irritating sound. I'm going to switch it back on now. But like 90% of it, definitely the lower sounds, the rumbling sounds disappear. Some of the higher sounds still come through, and I think that's because I think you're still supposed to be able to hear people's voices if they're talking to you while you're wearing these. There's a high-pitched whine from the treadmills that doesn't get blocked by the active noise cancellation. And the thudding, loud, clanging sound also still comes through. The gym is a noisy place with just the headphones on, without the active noise cancellation turned on. It sounds sort of like a bowling alley. That's sort of a roar rumbling in the background. When I turned on the active noise cancellation, it took away the rumble, but it left the high-pitched sounds like the treadmill and the people squealing as they try to lift far too much free weight. So the Atomic headphones weren't the biggest success at the gym, but they were pretty successful everywhere else. I'm honestly surprised how well they worked for an under $100 pair of active noise canceling headphones. I'd say they got rid of 90% of the sound that was bothering me in most situations. I feel no temptation to go out and spend an additional $250 to get a set of Bose noise canceling headphones to get an extra 5% or so more noise cancellation. However, they're a little moist now from my workout at the gym. I don't think in any case I would take them back there because I would just be afraid of ruining them. Usually what I use when I go to the YMCA are these earbuds that are Bluetooth enabled, and they work really well, but they don't have the noise canceling feature. Their claim to fame is that they're sweat resistant, which is what I put to the test. And for people who notice the occasional echoiness here in the sound in my videos, these with the noise cancellation on seem to take out any echoey sound. It sounds really good with these on. Now, I don't care that it doesn't have a Bose label on the side. It's kind of a cool pseudo carbon fiber-y look thing they've got going on. But the universe delivering unto me a pair of noise canceling headphones finally is its way of saying I've paid off my karmic debt of bringing crying babies onto airplanes. Finally, I can fly without having to hear that. I still wonder though what I've done in my life that makes it so often that there's a kid in the seat behind kicking. So in case you couldn't tell, I really like the Atomic headphones. There's a link to them down below this video. I also like the carrying case, which is again nice and small and fits them just perfectly to bring along. Trust me, I'll be bringing these along. Epic